How many days in a week do you have that day where you're like, I know exactly what I need to get done today. I've got this big long list. I have the time, I have the space, and I can't rely on myself to actually get it done. Basically already know that I've disappointed myself and the day hasn't even begun yet because I have this list, I have the time to do it, and I just know that I'm not going to do it. I've been there before. I have talked to so many clients who are in that same position. They feel so much shame admitting this to me of like, I must be the only person. And let me reassure you, you are not the only person who feels this way. You're in such good company. And this does not mean that you're doomed forever to not be able to reach your full potential. You absolutely can still hit a $500,000 a year, $1 million a year as an enterprise seller and have some of these tendencies. And I'm going to teach you today how to clean it up. Make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to give you some really fantastic tips. And I want you to try every single one of them and test out each one of them and see which one works for you and which one doesn't. Before I get started, let me introduce myself. My name is Deibert. I'm a performance coach for enterprise and strategic account executives. I help with productivity and mindset. And for a lot of people, they aren't able to totally get themselves to do what they need to do. It's not a knowledge problem. You know exactly what you need to do. You've done the research, you've taken the classes, you've watched the courses, you have the step-by-step plan. And maybe there's some pieces that are like unsure, but you generally know what you need to do. You just can't quite get yourself to do it. And so you start out the day knowing that the day is basically already a wash, and you're probably not going to get yourself to be able to do the work that you need to do until it's like 4:30 p.m. And now there's a deadline and you're stuck and you're stressed and you've got the cortisol and adrenaline to fuel you because you've got to get it done before the deadline. Let's fix all of that. I want to help you feel more in control of yourself, more in control of your destiny, more in control of how much money you make. And let's close that gap in potential. Let's close the gap. Let's help you just reach that potential and feel like you can actually do what it is that you said you would do. So let's break this down. Today, I'm going to talk about how to start when you feel like you have zero motivation. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about motivation. Motivation is fleeting. A lot of people don't start because they don't feel motivated. And the fact of the matter is, motivation comes in waves. It's just like waves in the ocean. If you've ever surfed before, you know what that's like. There might be a few good, like a set that has a few good waves, and then there's nothing. And it's kind of dead and you're just waiting for a good wave. That's the same thing as motivation. Sometimes you feel motivated and sometimes you can generate that motivation for you. But the fallacy is that you think that you need to have motivation in order to get started. And that's completely false. You can get started and not feel motivated at all. That's the good news. So first of all, you may have motivation. And if you do, ride that wave as long as you possibly can. Do some extra work for your future self. Get it out of the way. If you don't have motivation, that's not a problem. You can still get work done even if you don't feel motivated. So first of all, just normalizing that for yourself can be really helpful because a lot of people will overthink things and be like, well, I'm not motivated, so this is a big problem. I've got to fix things. I've got to change myself. Something must be wrong because I'm not feeling motivated right now. Other people seem super motivated and I'm not motivated. I'm broken somehow. And that's just false. Motivation is a fleeting emotion that sometimes is here and sometimes isn't. And if it's not here, it's okay. You can still get work done. So let me tell you what your brain is optimizing for. Our brains are stuck back in caveman times and our brains have not updated with society. And so there's three things. It's called the motivational triad that your brain is optimized for. Number one, your brain is optimized for seeking pleasure. If you find something pleasurable, like a caveman finds some berries, or cave woman, let's not be gender specific here, cave person finds some berries, then your brain gets a hit of dopamine. It's helpful that you found those berries. Those berries could keep you alive. That sugar could keep you alive. And so you have fleeting pleasure from finding that thing. The pleasure is not going to last because if it did last, then it would be problematic. You wouldn't be motivated to go find that pleasure again. So you have fleeting pleasure from that. But that's the first thing that your brain is optimized for. Seeking pleasure. The second thing your brain is optimized for is reducing effort. Again, our brains have not evolved as fast as society. So our brains are 100% worried that we're not going to find our next meal. We have to optimize our calories as much as possible. We have to reduce our caloric spend as much as possible because we don't know if we're going to find another meal. The fact of the matter is today we've got DoorDash, we've got restaurants, we've got drive-thrus. Like you're going to find food. It's going to be fine. But our brains don't know that. And so they're 100% optimized for like, if something seems like it's going to be a lot of effort, no way, we're not doing it. That's not going to happen. So seeking pleasure, reducing effort, and avoiding pain. If we find something that's painful, if we get hurt, we might die. So let's not do anything that's painful. So a lot of times you sit down at your desk, you have the best intentions. You're like, okay, today's the day. I've got some free time. I'm going to do all my account planning. I'm going to do some outreach. I'm going to do that account research I've been working on. I want to write my POVs. I'm going to do some multi-threading, whatever it is. You sit down and you don't do it. You get distracted in Slack or Teams, or you are checking emails, or you just start scrolling in LinkedIn to obviously go to Sales Navigator, but then you get stuck doom scrolling, looking at posts, comparing yourself to other people, and your day is shot. And it's the end of the day. You haven't got done what you wanted to get done. And you're like, why am I like this? What's wrong with me? Why can't I get things done? Why can't I focus? Why can't I just do what I know is important to do? It's because your brain is like, is this pleasurable to do account research? Not really. Does it sound like a lot of effort? Definitely. And does it sound kind of painful? 100%. Let's avoid that. That doesn't sound fun. So again, normalizing that there's nothing wrong with you. You have a fully functioning brain that's just not up to date with today's reality. The more you overthink this and overanalyze and spiral because you're like, there's something wrong with me. I'm broken somehow. I don't know and understand what's wrong with me. How come everybody else has this figured out and I don't? P.S. They don't have it all figured out. You're in such good company. But when you think these thoughts, it just digs a deeper grave for you. So rather than spiraling out on what's wrong with you and how everything's bad and you need to completely get a lobotomy and become a completely different person in order to reach your goals, it's not true at all. Just notice, okay, I'm not feeling motivated. That's fine. I can still get work done. And I'm feeling like I don't really want to do this. Doesn't sound fun. Doesn't sound pleasurable. Sounds kind of painful. Sounds like it's going to be a lot of work. And my brain is hardwired to avoid that. Okay, it's good that I noticed that and I can still work on it. Okay? Please normalize the experience that you're having. Don't overthink it. Don't overanalyze it. Just become aware of it. Really interesting. I'm definitely procrastinating this. Okay, what tools can I use? So let me break down some tools for you. I have 3 in particular that I really want to tell you about. The first tool is break it down smaller. Your brain has this scale of how much effort is this going to take versus how much dopamine am I going to get. And if the task seems like it's going to be tons of effort with very little dopamine, you need to go build an entire new account plan and territory plan and outreach strategy, that sounds like a lot of effort and it's very uncertain, very unknown, and not very much dopamine. Doesn't sound fun. However, if you break down your tasks stupidly small, I don't care how small you break them down. To me, I'm like, this is ridiculous, Amber. Why do you have to break them down so small to get yourself to work? I write down my tasks on a piece of paper and I break them down so small that task number 1 is open a new tab. And then my brain sees it and I'm like, oh, I'm so good at opening new tabs. Watch me cook. I'm going to open this new tab. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to cross that off my list. I'm going to physically cross it off my little Post-it note that I wrote it on, and it's going to feel so satisfying. The dopamine that I get from this is going to be huge, and the effort is so small. Guys, this is a major, major hack. You want to break down your tasks small enough that every single task on your list feels like something that you want to cherry pick off. And that leads me to my next suggestions. A lot of people that I work with, they actually don't have a hard time doing the work. What they really have a hard time with is starting the work. Once they're in it, once they're in the rhythm, the momentum's going, they kind of get this deep focus and they're in the zone and time stops and they're doing it, right? But they have a really hard time getting themselves to start the work. And it's really helpful to understand that about yourself, that when you're in it, you actually are fine and you can do the work, but it's getting yourself started. That's the really hard part. So focus on things that will make it super easy for you to start. So when you're breaking down your task list really small, do you have to write down every single possible task? No, not really. Just write down the first 5. Open a new tab, open up Google Docs, create a new doc. Make it so small for yourself that you already kind of are starting to go. And it's really easy for you to get started because once you're in it, you're probably in it. Here are a few other tactics that will make it really easy for you to start new tasks. Number 1, set a timer. Set a timer for whatever amount of time you want. It could be 3 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, it could be 30 seconds. And tell yourself, I'm just going to focus on this task until the timer goes off. Inevitably, you'll be in the task and you'll not want to stop. And so you'll just get the whole entire thing done. It's a really great hack because I'm like, oh, well, I can do this for 3 minutes. 3 minutes is so easy. Like, I'll do that for 3 minutes, no problem. So starting a timer and getting yourself going can be really, really helpful. Another thing that can be really helpful is just brain dump writing about whatever it is that you're avoiding. So whatever, like pull out a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be logical. It has to be very messy, which is really hard because a lot of us out there are perfectionists and we want it to be clean and we don't want to look like mess up a piece of paper. We don't want to have something that's messy. But I want you to just brain dump and start writing about this task of like, man, I really know that I need to do this task and I really don't want to do this task. And it sounds really painful and I'd rather do anything else. And I don't even know really what I'm supposed to do. Like if I were to start, like where would I even begin? Well, I mean, I guess I could go look at the account. I guess maybe the next thing I could do is like define the persona that I'm looking for. And then like maybe like find 3 personas. And you'll get to a point as you're just kind of like writing it all out. They're like, okay, now I know what I need to do. It will help get rid of all the overthinking, all the overanalysis in your brain. And when you start writing it down, that's when you'll be like, okay, actually I have a clear path and I can start working on this. It's a really helpful a really helpful trick to getting you started. And then the last tactic that I want to offer to you is gamification. If there is a way that you can gamify it, do that. This is something that I used when I was on my very first maternity leave. I just had my first baby. I had no idea what was happening. If you've had a kid before, if you've birthed a kid before, it's just a wild time. Like, you don't know what day it is. You don't know what time it is. You don't know where you are, who you are, like what's happening. You're just in this complete blur of like not sleeping at all. And in that distraction and fog that I was in, all I wanted to do was be on my phone. That's all I wanted to do. I was like, I am so exhausted right now. I just want some dopamine and I want to be on my phone all the time. And I knew that it was pretty not super healthy for me. And so I gamified my tasks of like what I wanted to be doing. I was like, okay, I want to be drinking more water. I want to be eating. I want to be showering. I want to be, I don't know, taking care of myself. Like whatever like basic skills I needed to do for myself, I needed to take care of those. And I found that I wasn't. I was just procrastinating and I was like just dying and trying to get myself out of this fog. So I gamified it by creating a list of like, what are the different things that I want to do to take care of myself and like support myself during this time, like drinking more water, eating lunch, getting a snack, like whatever it is. And I created this little list. And then I would pay myself almonds. I had 2 jars. I had 1 jar full of almonds and a jar that didn't have any almonds. And every time I did one of the tasks that I wanted to do, that I aspired to do, I would pay myself in almonds. And once I had a certain amount of almonds, I don't remember what it was over a decade ago. Once I had a certain amount of almonds, then I would cash them in for screen time just to keep myself in check. And so it was really motivating to me to do the things that I wanted to do because then I would get the reward that I was looking for. And I would even eat the almonds when I was ready to cash them in as like a little extra bonus. But gamification can be really helpful. And having something like this, I've heard people use paper clips in different jars on their desk. But having a way where you're tracking the behaviors that you want to do, sticker charts can be really helpful for this. Tick charts can be really helpful for this. I definitely recommend having something in your visual space or something that's printed out that you can see so that when you have a few minutes between calls, you remember what it is that you're trying to go for and you can start tracking those behaviors. This is something that Jerry Seinfeld used by writing a joke every single day, and then he didn't want to break the chain. He had that chain going. This is like Duolingo. Like when you have the chain going, you don't want to break that streak. And so it automatically helps you get the behaviors that you're looking for and build those habits. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. I hope that you've realized, if nothing else, that if you don't feel motivated, it's okay. You can still get work done. You can still live up to your potential and be the person that you want to be. If you want more help, you can come check out my newsletter. I share a really helpful tip every single week. It's brief. It's funny. People love it. Get on the list at mentalmaster.com/newsletter and come check me out on LinkedIn. If you're looking for more tips in your day-to-day, make sure you follow. I post there regularly, and I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you like about the podcast. Let me know what's resonating with you. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to address them here. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.